Simple question. Question I asked some friends this week. I asked them, are you bad at prayer? They all raised their hands and they just kind of laughed and shook their head. And then I asked, are any of you good at prayer? And nobody said yes. And I said, well, what does it look like to be good at prayer? Because I asked you bad or good, so you have in your mind this idea of what is good prayer and what is bad prayer. There wasn't a lot that was given as an example or a characteristic of praying good, but there was one that was thrown out, and it was consistency, which usually means if you're good at prayer, you pray a lot. So if you ask someone, are you good at prayer? And they say no, it probably means I should be praying more. I don't pray enough. I don't pray long enough. I don't pray deep enough. There's a sense of failure, which, as I thought about it more, kind of permeates all of what it means to be a Christian, this faith. It's almost always this message that we give. We're the ones giving it, by the way. Whether it was passed down or not, we're repeating it. Of saying, yeah, you're just not very good at this. It's really good. God is full of grace because you stink at this, whether it be, reading the word, whether it be loving others enough, or however you want to define what good and bad is. We almost always put ourselves and others in the category of, you're not very good at this. You're bad. Says who? Do we have any examples of Jesus telling someone, you're good at prayer? That prayer that was good job. Or do we have any examples of Jesus saying that prayer was, ugh? We have one example that I could think of, and it's with the Pharisees. It was the heart from which the prayer came from, wanting to be seen. And then there's plenty of teaching from Jesus on prayer. And his teaching was, don't be like the Pharisees. Instead, go to a quiet place where nobody knows you're praying. Not because, you're good at prayer if you keep it a secret. That's not the point. Because prayer is simple. It's sitting with God. It's like Mary and Martha. When Martha has Jesus come over, and instead of sitting at his feet, she's running around working. And Mary's sitting at Jesus' feet. And Martha gets upset because she's doing it wrong. She's doing life wrong. She's supposed to be working for Jesus. Then you're doing it right. You're doing the spiritual discipline of serving. But Jesus said, Mary has chose the better thing, the one thing, and it won't be taken from her. And so if the Pharisees were the only ones that were corrected, and we know the goal is not to be Pharisees, then maybe our idea of what good prayer and bad prayer is wrong, or maybe there is no good prayer or bad prayer. Maybe there's just prayer. Sitting at the feet of Jesus. Sometimes you talk, sometimes you listen, sometimes it goes for a while, sometimes it doesn't. But it's this understanding that the God of the universe, your Father in heaven, has invited you to spend time with him. That's what it is. It's an invitation. Now, you may look at it and go, I'm missing out. Jesus came so that I could have life and have it to the full, and I get to sit in his presence through the Holy Spirit, but I don't? Gosh, I'm missing out. That's a lot different than good or bad. Prayer, as we're going to look at this Sunday, is a lot less formulaic, and it's much more relational. Which means the whole purpose of prayer is to just sit in his presence. Now, there's much more to it, much more we're going to look at. But I think many of us are like one of my mentors when he says this. Although I knew facts and ideas about Jesus, I didn't know what it meant to be his friend. I had confidence in my ability to live for God, but I was clueless when it came to living with God. I could talk with others about Jesus, but I knew nothing about how to sit still long enough for Jesus to talk with me. That's our goal. That's what we're going to look at this Sunday. We're going to go through a series, and the series is called Reach. And the picture I want you to have in your mind is of Michelangelo's painting on the top of the Sistine Chapel. It's inside, but it's up on the ceiling. And it's stunning. And so when you see it, whether you see it in person or whether you see it just the image, it's this picture of God's hand reaching out and out of his hand, and they're about to touch, but it's basically showing God giving life. And what we're going to look at is what are the things that we can do to reach towards God? Not performance-based, but just how can we get closer to the one that gives life? And prayer is one of those. And next week, as we talk about solitude, that's another one. Reading his word is another way to reach. Corporately worshiping with others is another reaching. That's the goal. That's what prayer is. So if you want to learn more, but more importantly, just rest in it and be set free on the lies in your head about what prayer is, come join us on Sunday. You can go to branchesoc.com and it has the directions and how to get there and everything. Love you guys.